Yo, what's poppin', ladies and gentlemen? Thank you so much for joining us today. Today we'll be doing a press conference reaction to the manager, the Mr. 20th Premier League winner, Arne Slot. I'll always love the press conferences when it comes to the managers. I feel like the managers are more like an open book and they can give us more kind of details and more insight within a club. You know, a lot of the players, they're very, very kind of media trained, but the managers, they're a bit more of an open book. So yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it.
Everybody who likes Liverpool and who's a fan of Liverpool, we're disappointed for him leaving, because not only a good human being is leaving the club, but a very, very, very good fullback is leaving us as well. But
That I agree with. Like, ideally, in an ideal world, you want Trent to stay right, just because homegrown player, you know, uh, he's like a really kind of settled in right back. He's been at the club. He knows the system. He knows the environment, and yeah, and right back with his kind of attributes and his skill set with the passing, it's just a very kind of unique skill set that just simply in the current market cannot be replaced.
I also worked at clubs like as at Alkmaar and Feyenoord, where every season a very good or multiple very good players have left the club. So I'm a bit more used to it, maybe, that players leaving the club, and the experience I have, and by the way this club as well, that if a very good player is leaving, the next very good player will step up, and that's probably what's going to happen now.
That I kind of agree with. Like, it just feels like the end of the world when like a key player leaves, and sometimes it's very, very kind of hard to replace the player, and maybe there's like a void that never gets fulfilled. But Liverpool's circumstances, I feel, as Trent is easier to replace than maybe like in previous years where you let go of Luis Suarez. I mean, I feel like Bradley, maybe at the moment he's like a level or two below Trent, but I feel like he's a player that can kind of grow into that role and get better, get stronger, and just kind of fulfill that potential. And obviously, he's not going to bring the same skill set as Trent, but he's more like the marauding runner, the high energy kind of fullback. And I feel like the club and Slot, they look at Bradley and look at him as a good kind of like processor. I can't, the words skip in my mind, but he can kind of replace Trent going forwards. But
Again as well.
What about the situation though about him possibly leaving the club ahead of his contract expiring so as he could play in the Club World Cup? Can you tell us what the club's thoughts are on that? Is that potentially likely to happen?
Do you know where he's going now?
We understand what the direction of travel is Real Madrid.
Okay. No, he hasn't said anything about it himself. The only thing he said is that he's going to leave the club. So for me, it's impossible to comment on where he's going, and if that is a club that is going to play in the Club World Cup. You see on my smile, and that we both know where he's.
So there's been a lot of talk about this. Real Madrid, they might pay Liverpool a fee of like 1 million to kind of release him early so he can play in the Club World Cup. And obviously that's a big tournament. If you win the Club World Cup, you win 100 million. So I feel like you can play this in multiple ways. I feel like Liverpool can maybe even negotiate a higher fee, right? Because 100 million, bringing in Trent, Real Madrid, I don't think Carvajal's going to be back for a bit. So, yeah, I feel like you can negotiate maybe a slightly higher fee, maybe like 5-10 million. I mean, I suppose maybe it's even worth taking the 1 million. Personally, I wouldn't take it. I'm a little bit kind of bitter about the situation. So, try and maybe negotiate with Real Madrid and try and make him pay up. That's what I would do. But, yeah, Mr. Arne Slot here, playing it coy, not giving away too many cards here.
Going to, but it hasn't been said yet, so that's impossible for me to comment on.
Everyone seems to have an opinion on him, and certainly since he made his announcement this week, journalists, media, fans, everyone have their own opinion on him. How has he handled that sort of fallout, and how do you think, what sort of reaction should he get? Are you concerned about the reaction that he might get when he does play?
No, that people have an opinion about us. If it's Trent or me or someone else who works in this industry, that's not new for anyone. Probably it's a bit more for him now than he's used to, and maybe a bit more negative than he's used to. But I don't follow all of this. I'm not here to tell the fans how they should react. And I will see Trent in a bit, and the boys had a few days off as well. So I will wait and see how he feels about him announcing that he's gonna leave the club. I did speak to him on WhatsApp, but yeah, let's wait and see. But I'm not here to tell the fans how they should react. I think we're all disappointed, but Trent is the first one also who said that he would prefer us as a team and us as a club not to be too much distracted by this announcement.
Obviously, that's a bit of a kind of coward answer. Sorry, no disrespect, not to Arne Slot, but with Trent saying that I don't want it to be a distraction. That's a bit of a coward answer, right? For him, it's better if everyone just stays silent. But yeah, obviously, people are going to have very, very strong opinions. I like how Arne Slot said, look, everyone's kind of entitled to their opinion. I don't really like these rival fans kind of chipping in and saying, look, you should be happy that you let him go. No, I feel like homegrown player, Scouser, him leaving, of course the fans are going to be upset, right? And I think Slot's right that is kind of be more negative on Trent. I don't think Trent likes that. I think Trent wants to be kind of seen as a positive light. But the way you leave a club, that's always going to affect your legacy, whether you like it or not. And unfortunately, him leaving the club in this kind of manner on a free transfer, it's just going to, unfortunately, maybe for the wrong reasons, it's going to affect his legacy forever and how he's being perceived by the fans.
So I'm hoping that all the energy on Sunday goes to the players and to the support of our fans, and as less as possible to Trent. Unless it's positive, then they can do whatever they want.
Arne, earlier this week, Arsenal Wenger said he can see more big players leaving on free transfers going forwards. Is that something that trend that you could see happening, I suppose? Would that change the stance going forwards? Trying to get fees of players?
That's a good question. I think I agree with his journalist here. Madrid, in particular, they love a free transfer, and I think that's going to be a trend going forwards where players do run their contract down and they'll be leaving on a free transfer, right? Because it just costs the club wanting to acquire a player for a cheaper fee, and it's more kind of money in the pocket for the player. They get like a bigger signing on bonus. So instead of paying, let's say, 30 mil for Trent, argument's sake, you give Trent 20 and the club saves 10 million, right?
Running the contracts down rather than letting them go on free transfers.
Well, you cannot deny that it happens a bit more than it did in the past, but it's not that it's like happens a lot. If my memory is correct, I think it happens mostly with a certain club that brings free agents in, and you don't see it that much at other big clubs yet. But I cannot predict the future, so I don't know what's going to happen. But it happened a few times now. But I also see a lot of players moving for big transfer fees in every single window of the last 3, 4 or 5 years. So could be a trend. Funny word, by the way. You understand it, Trent? Yeah, you did not laughing, so probably it's not funny. But
I'll tell you what, Arne Slot is low-key kind of funny and underratedly funny, and yeah, I like his charisma. I like how he's open to answering questions, and yeah, big fan of Arne Slot. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to comment, share, sub, like. I'll catch you in the next one.